The German's got heavy hands, but it's also got heavy feet. The V8 engine climbs to serious heights, but what goes up must come down. Has it got the resistance to see itself home, or will it fall by the wayside like so many before it?
It's an animal that can't surrender. So let's give you a brief history of the M3. So the E30 was produced from 1986 to 1991. Then they produced the E36 from 1992 to 1999. Then there was the E46 from 2000 to 2006. Then from 2007 to 2013, we had the E90, the E92 and the E93. And obviously it went on to the F80 and the G20 M3. But we're focusing today obviously on the E92. So this is a 2010 car. It's got a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox. Again, you can't complain, it's very, very good. So things you want to watch for on these cars, which would be the rod bearings, the throttle actuators, and the steering racks can be a bit funny. This one's been modified to kind of save it from destroying itself. But overall, they're known to be incredibly tough, these cars. They're really well known for obviously going to the Nürburgring and being used as track tools because they're real tough.
So we've got Bride Lomax bucket seats, which are obviously mega. You fit in really nicely in here. We've got a stripped out rear with a roll cage and 4-point harnesses, Alcantara steering wheel. It's a real nice place to be still though.
So we've got a range of settings we can go through. It's just general information, oil level and servicing. Just things that are going to tell you when something's going to go wrong. And it's all. Do you know what I like about it? It's basic. I think like more modern BMWs lost that because people don't want to be scratching their head when it comes to working something out. They just want to be able to do it. It want to be simple. It's like this, for instance. The fellow who owned it before built the car, so he just needs to press that, and it's in its most aggressive setting. All the traction control's completely off.
92 M3 uses a S65 4-litre V8 engine, which is a real smooth revving bit of kit. This car's had so many little changes done to it. It obviously has the original DNA of the E92 M3, but a lot of it is gone. It feels completely different now. It feels real hardcore.
4-litre S65 V8 produces 414 brake horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque, and it revs to 8,300 RPM. How much that engine revs out. You almost have to recalibrate yourself. It's a V8 and it just keeps revving all the way to 8.3. Gearbox is very good. It's been tuned along with the engine, but it just, yeah, the gear changes are super quick. Because the gear changes are so quick on their quickest setting, it's upsetting the car because of the conditions. It's like it's changing so quickly that the car's losing a bit of traction. You can just feel it just upsetting the balance. I'm gonna slow the gear changes down a little bit. People are like, what? You're slowing down the changes?
You absolute demon.
Oh, jeez. What a brilliant thing. I mean, talking about the engine, really is grand. It won engine of the decade, which is no surprise. You can never get bored of that. No one can ever get bored of that noise.
Using an AP Racing Pro 5000R brake caliper on the front with a floating disc, and on the rear we're using a standard caliper and disc with an uprated pad and a lightweight alloy, and we've got our stud conversion all round.
Just stand on the brakes there. Yeah. The car stops. The squeakiness is coming from the pads because obviously they're an aggressive setup. They're a ceramic pad on there. Brakes on this car feel nothing short of brilliant.
We're also using a KW Club Sport coilover, which is obviously dampening, height adjustable. It's got a real aggressive set on it, this car. Real aggressive setup.
And a real harder rate on there, spring rate. They're at that very limit of what's usable on the road. But because the dampener's so good, you can use them. But the dampeners are wound down at the minute. The geometry setup's really aggressive. I don't know exactly what degrees of negatives and camber we've got on the front, but I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably around 4 degrees. Really poor surface. Dampeners really show their capacity there. Steering's got real good feedback. It's quick, the rack, but it's got like the more you lean into the corner on the tyre, it feels like it weights up a lot, so you're getting a lot of feedback. God, this covers ground mightily quick. With the right driver, this car is a weapon. The standard car's DNA is still kind of looming, but it's been hardened up, it's been put in line, and it's pissed off. You can see why people take these on the Nürburgring now. They've got an overall feeling of like huge durability. I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit scared. It's just that semi-slick tyre with the conditions and the setup. I tell you what, if it was the same conditions in something like my Noble or my old Ultima GTR, it would be a lot worse. I'm probably being a little bit harsh to the M3. Everything feels completely precise. Oh, jeez. What a brilliant thing. It's got that kind of overseer power. You get a God complex in this car, it really is that good. In the concrete, it really has. There's not much better than this feeling. This is what it's all about for me. This is harmony for me. On its limit, it just becomes completely alive. This car, limit driving, is up there with some of the best you're going to use. That V8 is just hypnotic. I can't quite believe the level of grip and balance it has. Keep going and just keep pushing, and it keeps giving more. What's wrong with this thing? I don't know who's going to brake first, me or the car. The steering's so immediate. Any little incremental changes are just instantly submitted to the tyres and the front axle. When I'm just looking for something special, I found it in the R34 GTR. I found it in the Noble. And I've also found it in this. It's brilliant. There you go, I said it. I'm a bit of a critic when it comes to cars. Rear wheel drive, I'm very picky with them. They've got to be very good. But this is very good. So if you want a suspension set up like this, because this is flat out the best I've felt, it's bang on. You can't get any better than this. And if it can, it's going to be intricate, tiny amounts. But RD Automotive in Ebbsfleet is the place you need to go. So speak with them if you want this geometry setup. I'm not going to give you away a secret, but what I would say is the angles are seriously aggressive. If this is the last thing I do, don't come to my funeral. There's no need. There's no tragedy here. Nah. Go and use your time more wisely. And if I come back or I'm reincarnated, I want to face that force with the same resistance. I want my nose firmly to the grindstone once again. I don't want any handouts, and I'm not going to pray for a miracle. And the only divine power we need is our own determination. The M3 has been baptised in fire and reborn into something that's capable of trading with overwhelming forces. It's now a seriously worthy combatant. And yes, it's got Featherstone Tarmac seal of approval, this one. Keeps giving you more! This is why I'm here!